Ma'am, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. It's been a long night. My name is Susan Axelrod, and I live in South Kingstown. And I hope I can keep my thoughts coherent. It's been a long time since I've eaten bad lo mein. But there was a topic that's come up many, many times during testimony tonight, and it's sort of vaguely referred to as late-term abortion. And it's this, there's a lot of terms that, So I'd like to share my story. I was 5.5 months pregnant when we discovered that my daughter had some pretty bad birth defects. We didn't know how bad, but we knew they weren't going to be good. So we had a series of tests run, an amniocentesis, some very fancy ultrasounds, and discovered that there would be no way she would ever be able to take a breath. And I had until 24 weeks to make a decision as to how I was going to proceed. But I was pregnant with a very much loved third child. She was in congestive heart failure. She had no stomach. She had no lungs. And abortion was not something I could consider until I was faced with this horrible, horrible situation, this choice. Had we carried her to term and she had survived my pregnancy, we would have just watched her suffocate immediately upon birth. And I'm heartbroken that our laws in Rhode Island would dictate that that be the outcome for this very sad and miserable pregnancy, that I would need to lay on a table and watch my baby suffocate upon birth. And I'm so very grateful that my husband and I had a choice to talk to our parents and our doctors and consider how much our baby would be suffering if she were even to survive our pregnancy. I went into a hospital in Boston at 3 days shy of the 24-week cutoff because we were right at the end of our time period, and I was induced, and it took like 3 days, and it was horrible, and it was miserable and painful, and the nurses couldn't look me in the eye, and I gave birth to her. And she had died a couple of days before we did this procedure. But there was a doctor here tonight who said that she would never give an abortion to anybody, but she might induce a woman to give birth before the baby could be viable. Well, I'm sorry, that's what I did, and that's an abortion. You can call it whatever this doctor down here a few hours ago called it, but I was induced to give birth to a baby that... Please don't take away women's choices to be able to dictate their choices. It was hard enough without needing to go before a legislative body, without needing to submit paperwork, without needing to take the question beyond my doctor and my parents and my husband and make a choice that was best for my family. I had 2 little children at home. Carrying this baby to term would have just been cruel to all of us, including my unborn daughter, whose name was Sadie. So, thank you very much for allowing me to share. Please don't let any women suffer this and not be given a choice with how they took care of their pregnancy. So thank you very much for listening to me tonight. And I'm very happy to answer questions. I sent you each an email last night, but I realized in my naivety that you probably received 400 emails last night. So I'm like, oh, they'll read my email. So
Close, but we did get them and we printed them out, so they're here, so everyone does have it.
Okay, so you'll be up the rest of the night reading all the emails.
No, that was more today, but yes.
But I'm very happy to answer any questions. I know the topic kept coming up about fetal abnormalities and late term. It was not an easy choice, and there's flip discussion that women just decide to have an abortion late in pregnancy. That's not real. Holy, you are so attached to a pregnancy by the time you're 12 weeks in. This idea that women take these kinds of choices lightly is just fallacy. These women, this is a hard thing.
Thank you very much.